If you're like me and felt that you are meant for more, but not in the hustle culture kind of way, this video is for you. Because I'm no longer chasing success, I'm creating alignment. I've spent too many years measuring my worth by deadlines, meetings, and rigid work hours that never considered how I actually felt. Now, I want to wake up early because I want to. That success does not have to be earned by exhaustion. That building a business from flow, softness, and trust isn't just possible, it's powerful. Hi there, I'm Samira. I'm a mother to a toddler, a former 9 to 5 digital marketer, and a woman who is slowly but surely building her dream life from scratch. Here on this channel, I am documenting what it's like to build a purpose driven business as a mother, a woman of faith, and someone who rejects hustle culture. This is a place for soft living, slow mornings, deep alignment, and feminine entrepreneurship. And most importantly, it is my passion that you don't choose between motherhood and ambition. I want you to create a path that honors both. Now, in today's video, I'm going to talk about why the 9 to 5 didn't work for me, why I'm drawn to entrepreneurship, how the masculine way burned me out, and why I believe the feminine way will work out for me. So, if any of these topics resonate with you, please stick around. Now, I did the 9 to 5 for almost over a decade. And listen, I tried to really like it. I work with amazing people. I learned so much over the past decade, but deep down, it never felt right to me. I used to think something was wrong with me simply because all of my peers, my circle, everyone was excelling at it, and I just didn't like it. Clocking in, answering emails, trying to feel passionate about KPIs, but deep down, I was feeling like a robot. I'd be working from home, making lunch for my son, rushing back to my Zoom meeting, and just thinking, is this really it? It just never felt right. It was that classic cycle: Sunday scaries, dreadful Mondays. Man, was I that person that annoyed everybody with Happy Friday. And when the weekend hit, I felt like I could finally breathe, only to spend the weekend recovering from the week and preparing for the next. It wasn't enough time. Now I'm pretty self aware. Every Sunday night, I felt a tightness in my chest. And throughout the week, when I had meetings with clients, my body felt like I was about to fight a saber tooth tiger. I know that sounds dramatic, but that's how I felt. Don't get me wrong, there are women that can do it all. I had a director who literally had 4 kids that were amazing at what they did. They were successful, they were playing teams. She was just really passionate about her job and did so well. And she juggled motherhood and the 9 to 5. And I really genuinely wondered how she did it all. But for me, it just didn't fit. I really was like, I'm not enjoying this whatsoever. Many of you might be wondering, why didn't you put your child in daycare if you were juggling, raising a child and juggling a job? I just couldn't justify putting my son in a daycare away from me for 40 hours for a job that I was not passionate about. I wasn't saving lives out there. I even tried all the work life balance tips. Like, I enjoyed slow mornings. So I went as far as waking up at 5:30 to 6 to just enjoy that slow morning that every mother deserves out there, especially every working mom. And it just wasn't sustainable. Like, not everyone can make it to bed early. I tried waking up before the sun to fit in a peaceful morning, but it didn't feel peaceful at all. It felt forced. I was pouring into my work before I was pouring into myself. Now, I didn't hate the job. It's not that. It just didn't feel like mine. And like I said, no matter how many work balance tips I tried, it always felt off. And then I realized in my 30s, it's not me that's the problem, it's the system. It's the 9 to 5 isn't built for women like me. Women who want to live intentionally, be present for their children, honor their faith, and still create something impactful. And that's why I've always been drawn to entrepreneurship. I truly believe it allows me to design the life that I want and not just survive it. Even while I was working full time the past decade and a half, I always had this pull to create something. And I've tried so many things. I did an e commerce mug shop. I sold products on Amazon. I've sold digital workbooks. I attempted YouTube back in 2016, and it all failed, or at least I quit. And every time those things didn't work out, I kept telling myself, you know what, maybe I'm not cut out for entrepreneurship, and just went back to my 9 to 5 job. But now looking back at the age of 34, with the wisdom that I've attained, I realized I wasn't just not good at it. I was just trying to build a dream using tools that did not fit my nature. And what do I mean by that? I was doing things the masculine way. Every time I started something, I was locked into the most rigid outcomes. I have to make this amount of money this month. I got to grow this many followers by that month, and I need to launch ASAP. And if I didn't hit that exact crazy goal that I put out there, I would immediately panic and pivot or just end up quitting. There was no room for slowness at all. It was just pressure, deadlines, and competition. And lastly, I believed I had to do everything on my own because strong, independent women don't need help, right? But that type of mindset always crushed any attempt towards my dream life so many times. After I had this realization that I always acted out of fear and I ended up losing myself. Now I am making decisions out of peace and I find myself actually powerful. Aside from talking about making money and building business in 9 to 5s, as a woman, I realize that when I'm relaxed, I am very creative. My husband actually brought this to my attention. For example, during Ramadan, I saw a lot of moms out there making cardboard mosques for their kids. And I was so enlightened by this, and I went and attempted to make it myself. I went and got the pieces of the project, I painted it, I went all out and I enjoyed it. It literally took me like a full week and a half every night when I put my son to sleep. But the whole process was so fun for me and it came out so nice because my intention behind it was with no pressure and just presence. Another example is that even though I had deleted my Instagram and I was no longer sharing my personal life online, I was still editing little snippets of videos that I had recorded of my son as like a monthly memory. Like this is him at 5 months. And it was all little snippets of his little cute moments that I filmed. So this was me still editing and creating content or videos for my memories, not for an audience. And even before I started treating Instagram like a job, I really loved making content. Like it was just for fun of just sharing with my friends and family all the fun things I was doing in life. Like I remember going to a friend's wedding in Mexico. I created this really fun video of the memories simply because I wanted to capture the moment, not to build a following, not to uh, prove something online. It was literally just to share how fun in a fun way in this little snippet and this little reel. Lastly, I was inspired by the DIY textured art. I remember taking a week off work just to do things that I wanted to do, like projects like that, no pressure. And I created this nice, beautiful artwork for our living room. So when I'm not under pressure and I'm relaxed and I have the time, I am so creative. And this is all just telling me that I'm not built for force. Now, in my job in marketing, I worked with a lot of high level male executives, CEOs, business owners, like really top men out there that have a lot of experience and built a lot for themselves. And every meeting, I felt like I had to armor up, whether it was speaking louder, pushing back. I remembered how exhausted and anxious that made me feel. I remember venting to a coworker. He's this British fella. And I remember him saying to me nicely, "You need to be more boss lady for this job." And I remember thinking, that's not who I am. This is performative and this is what's exhausting me. I feel like to my core, I was not built for confrontation. I find myself being a better leader when I lead with softness, intuition, empathy, which is something that you don't really see for fast paced marketing agencies like mine. After these little realizations and mindset shifts, I became more in tune with my femininity. And I want to talk about why that works for me as a woman of faith, a wife, and a mother. Now, before I deleted my Instagram, I was avidly online because I was attempting that influencer thing before I actually deleted it. And I shared everything online. I was constantly paying attention to likes, comments. I was talking to 20 people a day on my DMs. I was very social and very active on my socials. So I decided that I needed to make time for my 9 to 5 job and juggle motherhood. So I deleted my Instagram, which means no access to all the people I constantly talk to. And no one saw what was going on in my life, and neither did I know what's going on in their lives. In this time, I tuned out a lot of noise and I was able to really reflect and get a lot of clarity after I deleted my Instagram. In that time, I found myself getting really close to God. I really enjoyed motherhood because I was a lot more present. I wasn't distracted by notifications all the time. And I embraced the quiet joy of my home, making dinner, visiting family, and living slowly. And I truly do believe that feminine energy allows me to live and lead from that place. It gives me flexibility as a mom, harmony as a wife, and alignment with my faith. And one thing I want to make clear is that feminine energy is not about doing less, it's about doing things differently. For most of my life, I felt like we had to operate like men, wake up, grind, push, same rhythm. But there were many situations in my 20s where I really hated how our womanly bodies worked. First and foremost, let's talk about hormones. Women are biologically wired to be different from men. Men operate on a 24-day cycle, same, stable, consistent. Women, on the other hand, are on a 28-day cycle. We fluctuate. Hormones fluctuate in a circle. And I wish I knew this knowledge back in my 20s when I beat myself up for not liking how I looked, how I felt, and just feeling bad that I'm not performing as well, whether it was working out, whether it was in school or whether at work during that time of the month. It almost made me feel like I was broken. And I was one of the millennial women during that time where birth control was prescribed left and right to ruin our hormones even more. I really do want to thank the women out there for pushing back on this knowledge and creating apps out there that educate us women about our bodies and really tell us what's going on a week by week basis during the 28-day cycle. We are broken up into 4 different weeks, and each week our hormones fluctuate and we are designed to operate differently. And once you learn that knowledge, you realize that, you know what, you can work around the cycle. We're different from men. So, all of my 20s, I'm over here thinking I'm broken, when in reality, I was just out of sync with my cycle. Now I've learned to eat differently during each week of my cycle, work out differently during each week of my cycle, and know when to rest when I need to during my cycle. And I find myself being happier, energized, and just optimized fully now that I follow this 28-day cycle. Men and women are not the same because of this. So, after learning about hormones, there's something else that I realized of how we operate differently than men. Back in my 20s, I used to work out like a crazy person. High intensity workouts was the minimum. And I remember joining classes kind of like Orange Theory, where I would kill myself 4 or 5 times a week and made sure I lost 600 calories on my Apple Watch. I did this often. And on top of that, I was on a shortage of food. I was like, it's okay, I'm eating less, no carbs. Just remember being frustrated years and years why I'm not losing weight, I'm not reaching my goals, and I'm going crazy with these intense workouts. And I did this for so many years and beat myself over it. Now in my 30s, I want to thank Skinny Talk, which some may argue is toxic, whatever, but it worked for me. They really glorified walking and just being in a calorie deficit, not the high intensity workouts, not going crazy, simply walking. After years and years of honestly, not even years, like after I just had these pesky 10 pounds I wanted to lose after I had my baby. I lost it instantly, simply by walking. I was shocked. I was so shocked at how easy it was. I didn't have to do squats. I didn't have to lose 600 calories during a workout session. I didn't have to work out a full hour. I just had to walk all day. I was shocked. And that's when I learned that we're not giving the rest our body needs and we shouldn't operate like men. And I'm speaking on behalf of all millennial women. Instead of fueling our bodies with the proper foods and giving our bodies rest and not going intense with the high intensity workouts, we harmed it. And that's why we never saw results and we just stressed ourselves out even more, which led to a vicious cycle. Now, when we relax, we take it easy, we keep our cortisol levels at bay, we can see results. I really do think that women are a lot happier now with the Pilates classes, the 10K walking steps, and they're finally seeing results that we've always wanted. So to my fellow ladies, your body's not broken, it's rhythmic. Learn the feminine rhythm and you'll stop fighting yourself. After all of these realizations of how women operate differently and why the masculine way never worked for me, this is when I'm like, you know what? I am going to go after my dream life again with feminine energy and do something I've never done before. I may get varying opinions, but I do want to let everyone know that I'm treating this like an experiment. I'm not saying this is the only way you can build a business. I'm just saying this is what I'm going to attempt, and I truly believe this is going to work out for me because times are changing. We're in an era where women are building massive wealth simply by being themselves. There are women out there that are simply filming their overnight oats and making six figures. There are women out there that are just taking a picture of their cute outfit of the day before they go out and making six figures. They're vlogging softly, they're living intentionally, and people are watching. People are watching because it's real, it's authentic, it's not performative. I truly do believe that times are changing and the world is shifting, and this is a golden opportunity for me to do things my way. So, in this time, I'm not hustling, I'm choosing softness, I'm building my business through intention, not stress, and I truly believe this will work because I've seen it work for others and it already feels better for me. And lastly, I want to talk about one big aspect of feminine energy compared to masculine is that it's all about receiving. You don't have to chase your dream, you're attracting it. And I'm learning to treat my business as an extension of myself. So I will lean on God and always have this belief that I'm always provided for. Another thing about femininity, which I plan to include in my business, is to not do things alone and really embrace receiving. When I became a mother and gave birth, those 40 days postpartum, I would have not been able to do that alone. My family, my in laws, everyone that stepped in that cooked me something, helped me rest, helped take care of my newborn, made me realize that we're not supposed to be doing this alone. I can go on another tangent about how women are treated badly or treating themselves badly when they deliver babies or have babies or whatever during the postpartum. But women do truly need to receive more and not deny any help. Now I'm applying that same support with my business. So in my business, I do plan on leaning on my husband, his structure, his strategy, his steadiness. What I know that he can help me with is groundedness, logic, and support. I plan to also lean on my older brothers for advice who are already entrepreneurs. And I'm planning to carry the legacy of my late father, who always taught us to think long term and build something that lasts for generations. So to summarize my point, feminine energy receives, it doesn't resist support. If you're like me, if you've felt torn between who you are and who you are expected to be, if you're tired of hustle culture, this is your sign. There's another way, a softer way, a aligned way, and I'm walking it now. So if any of this resonates with you, even just a little, please stick around, subscribe, like, follow me, because this is just the beginning of building our dream lives the feminine way. You don't have to chase the old path. You're allowed to create a new one that feels like home. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you at my next video.